the agenda for today's release webinar 2020.8, and here are my pick or our pick of 5 most important features. So as you know, there's actually much more that we deliver in each release, but this is what we have picked for this release webinar. So process queue analysis, which is a great tool for finding the bottlenecks, and then the web links, which opens a total new area for the continuous process analysis and actually lets the business people to start the actions to correct the information and act upon the data right from the process mining reports and tables. So web links, great feature. Then we have a usability improvement of the Flowchart Reset. So quick zooming and other handy improvements, which have been asked quite a lot. So yeah, I'm super happy for the implementation. And then one of my favorites, the root cause analysis. Well, we have actually had this feature, a functionality for many years already in our other client, the so-called Excel client, and then also here as a kind of if you go to the manual settings. But now we have productized and put this ready-made charts for the duration and weighted root cause analysis, which have been used by our customers a lot. And then the feature number 5 is the user management, which is super flexible with the roles and permissions. And now we have the full web user interface for the user management. So, and then of course the product owners pick on what is coming to the next release after that. But this 2020.8 is now already running in the customer environments and cloud environments. So let's get into the nice details and process queue analysis. So there we go. So how do you actually find the bottleneck flows in the process at any given time? So bottleneck is like something like you can think about the bank, and then people can be there, can be a long queue in the very morning and then in the lunch hour, but then at the other times there might not be so much queue. So queue is relative to the actual time of the day or month or week or year or whatever. So the queue analysis helps you to find the bottleneck flows and then to find the peak periods. So what is a peak period for when do we have a lot of cases? So there are a couple of screenshots, but I'm of course eager to jump into the product itself, but just to show that that you can identify the flows over there, and then with the queue status by flows option, and then of course the queue analysis cases in queue by time analysis. But let's jump to the product and see how it looks like. So here we are running the Process Analyzer 2020.8, and we just go to the normal process discovery. We have our process model over here, and we are kind of ready to go. Let me just move some extra screens. Okay, and then now I want to do the queue analysis. So as we all know, the queue analysis, let me just put it like this. Okay, so the queue analysis is here in the process improvement use case. So you have the queue analysis views over here. So first starting point could be the queue status by flows. So we take this is showing all the flows in the model, and then saying that which ones are having the biggest queue, longest queue at a specific time. So now we might have some understanding. Okay, 1st of January was a kind of we had a lot of queue at that time. So we can check that. Okay, at that time these were the cases, these were the flows. So from invoice clearing as a last occurrence, which means that it was kind of ended there. So let's do the one modification. We go to the dimension and we take away the starting and ending flows. So now we see those cases that are in the middle of the process on 1st of January. So here we see that invoice created to the invoice due date. that is one area with a lot of cases there waiting for the due date, and then some other flows over here. Now, for example, you may be interested in some particular event types. For example, let's see that we get a sales orders into the order to cash process, then we create the delivery, then we do the delivery, and then we create the invoice. These could be like our basic set of the activities. So let's create the filter for these event types, and say that, okay, I want to analyze these event types. So now we see that within the scope of these event types, process model looks like this, but we see that the sales order item created to delivery created, this is the part where most of the cases, incoming orders are staying. So they are like waiting for the delivery to be created. Okay, so this is saying that, and in January 1st, it was this time, and now we can go to look at this particular flow in more detail. Item created to delivery created. So let's go to the queue status cases in selected queue as a trend. So now I go to this one and click this particular flow. So we see that the sales order item created, delivery created, looking as a trend, the cases, the queue looks like this. So we have something like 4,500 cases in the peak period, which here is August 2019. So this is the queue length in this particular flow for the whole duration of the whole model. And this is now viewed in the monthly level, but of course we can take this same information also in whatever level we want. For example, looking at this in the daily level, we'll give the daily values. So you see there's more granularity in the chart. And if you are interested in the absolute peak numbers, then you can even go here and say that cases in queue show me the maximum. Like here we have 4,600, but if I take the absolute maximum number into the chart, we can see that what was the peak level where the amount of the cases was in this particular flow at any given time, 4,700. Yes, so this is functionality from our queue analysis, and there's even more queue status until and from a particular event. So we can go here and, for example, if we again take the whole model and check that in the 1st of January, there were a lot of cases. We can just simply use the normal filtering functionality if we are not to exclude cases here. So now we see that queue until a particular event. So we see that most of the cases are waiting to enter into this particular event, customer PO date. So this is how many cases are waiting to go into this particular event in the model, and the model is like this order to cash model. And then we can say the other direction, starting from the event. So invoice created, confirmed delivery dates, SO item created. These are kind of the events that have happened in that particular day, and then the case is waiting to go to the next place. So all of this is now put into the process improvement use case, and these are called the queue analysis. Okay, so maybe anything there Olli, you would like to comment about this feature?
Yeah, well, a general comment, I'm very happy to see that from this very simple event log format, there are new viewpoints that we can get out from the data, and this queue viewpoint is one. So now we have then been able to implement this kind of thing to the process mining tool. And well, as Teemu showed you, there you got the also the maximum queues there. So one notable thing is that this is not the kind of approximation, but this is a very accurate presentation of the queue status at any specific time. So you can zoom and drill down to as detailed level as you want in the analysis. But yeah.
Yeah, very good. I'm really happy. I'm really happy to see this, because this, as Olli you said, opens up a total new perspective to how the process can be analyzed. And one word about those perspectives, in the process analyzer, you can pick what objects you are going to analyze. And there are a lot of traditional cases, events, variations, event types, and flows. But as you see, there are also very interesting perspectives regarding the root cases, clustering cases, predicted cases. And now when you go down the list, you also see the queue analysis, which is now our built-in analysis, which provides the queue elements that then can be visualized in these dashboards and charts. Alrighty, let me jump back to the, and please write the questions to the webinar chat box, and we are happy to answer them in the webinar or afterwards. Yes. Okay, this was the queue analysis. Now the feature number 2, the web links. So web links for starting the business actions. So what do you want to do with these? How do you want, if you want to, how to ensure the products are delivered on time? Well, the answer is do the process mining analysis, but don't only look at the historical data, look at the current sales orders and see if there is a problem, then take an immediate action. And how do you do the immediate action? Well, you can have the case over here, and if it shows a prediction is showing that it's a problematic one, or some other analysis is showing that something needs to be done, then you can have a link directly from here, case ID, to your SAP system, for example. So SAP opens with that case and you can fix the situation right away. How to improve the data quality? So you can always go from these links to the actual records in your ERP or master data management systems to fix if you see any problems in the analysis. You fix the source system, and then once the new information is loaded, everything will work right. And additional information from the ERP systems or some other systems. So the web links provide a lot of functionality. I don't have a SAP in this demo environment, so I will be showing these web links with some common web tools that everybody has access to. But in your own environment, it's quite likely that you would be creating the links to the SAP, for example. Okay, so here we are running a dashboard that is showing case ID and then some properties from the case. And now in this dashboard, you see that there are links within all these fields. So for example, if I have a currency here, RUB, I can click this link and it will show me right away the rubles to euro currency rates from a web server over here. So how do we do these kind of things? Well, actually, I'm going to show the other one. So this was how to see the currency. Then maybe I have the customers over here. So if I want to see something from the customer, Occidental Petroleum Corp, I just click on this one, and right away I get the company statistics and information from Google and Wikipedia and like that. So I'm Googling with that link. So having something in process mining table can be used as the link, configured link into other system. And for example, here I have this latest event that has happened to the case. And then if I have some special event, I can click on the event and again get the documentation for the event. And it's being said that, okay, this is the Epicor user help forum. giving more information of what is this particular event type part transaction. Okay, this is because this particular model is an Epicor model. So if you're running SAP, but then you can have the SAP transaction codes and you get the helps from there. And here would be then the link to the case, the particular sales order in your ERP system. Well, now it just opens the Google with that particular case reference identifier here. So how do you build these? You build these just like the normal tables. So they are a table, you put cases, you get the columns to be case ID and some case attributes, currency, customer name, latest event in case, very simple information. But here, for example, the customer name. So we can see that, okay, I have a web link here. So in this web link, when it's going to create the hot link and there's going to be the clickable area and it goes to the google.com and make a search, and then this is the key part. So this link can be configured. So either it sends to that SAP or Google or whatever system the text that is in that particular cell, like the customer name in this case, or then it takes the data from some other column which may be hidden, for example. So you can specify a very detail level information so that you get into the right screen in SAP to modify the sales order so that you can do the action that is needed. Okay, so this is the web link functionality over here, and you have the full expression language to configure those links and create the integrations for your process mining users to the actual ERP systems. So, Olli, comments about the feature?
Yeah, I think this is very easy to use, easy to configure functionality, and very powerful. I would say this is a kind of lightweight integration to other source systems. So back to the source systems. Well, one small point which you can use there is that actually, so of course the links are dynamic, so they are depending on which row you click and so on. But you can actually include their information that is not visible in the tables. So you can get some additional information to a hidden column in the table, and then refer that and use that in the link. So then the links can have information that are actually not in the visible in the table.
Yes, that's really good. So you can make it a very user friendly and easy for everybody to go into the details of the case. So details are somewhere else, master data, ERP system. So you can go there, you can configure the links in whatever way you want. Yes, this is
yeah. Actually, now you can think that actually which data need to be imported to Process Analyzer. So if there is information that you just want to refer based on individual case ID, some additional detail, actually this is sufficient functionality for that. If you can just follow a link and see the details. So the mandatory data that process mining and process analyzer needs, if you dimension and calculate measures for the data, then the data is needed in the process analyzer. But if there is no particular need for the actual that kind of analysis, then you don't need the data in process analyzer.
Yes, and if this is, for example, a list of the problematic orders which have been late delivery, or the delivery address is like missing or something else like that, then of course you can then click on this customer names and go to your master data management system to update the missing address or update the missing information. So often this kind of Analysis also reveals the data quality issues, which you can then easily fix once you have the link to that particular source system. Okay, so linking process mining to your corporate infrastructure and other applications to make the business users' life easier and process more efficient is definitely a core benefit of QPR ProcessAnalyzer. Alrighty, this was the feature number 2. We still have features to go. Flowchart Reset. Well, this is so nice that I'm getting excited to show how it works. But the point is, how do you make the full flowchart visible, and how do you easily reset the zoom to 100%? And how do you make sure that you are not going to get lost with the flowchart? Well, that's really simple in the process analyzer now. So let me go here, for example. Yes, and now the thing is that you may have a very large flowchart over here. So in order to fit this to screen, you just click here. So now it automatically zooms the flowchart into the particular size where it fits to the screen. Now 93% in this particular configuration. And then if you want to see it with the 100%, which is kind of your own kind of your own sort of preference, then you click here and then 100%, and then depending on the size of the information, it's going to be fully visible or not. Let's see. This is the 100%, doesn't quite fit into the screen, and then now with these settings 85% is going to be visible. Of course, this depends on the amount size of your model, how many event types you have. So if you just click fit to screen, it will put it to be smaller. So this is a very nice. Of course, you can achieve this by manually clicking the plus and minus signs. But this anyways is set to zoom to 100% and fit to screen is really nice over here. And of course, if you are running with a bit smaller screen like here, then you see the effect. So it zooms into this size of the screen. And now the other thing is that it used to be possible to move the flowchart completely away from the screen. But now if I click on this and drag and drop, I can't get it I can't hide it. So the thing is that my flowchart stays visible here in this window. It doesn't go anywhere else. You can see it how it hits the borders over here. So it's not going to, it's not disappearing. So nice usability improvements. Olli, what is your comment?
Well, I guess previously our flowchart was too flexible because you could move it out of the screen, and then there was a problem that you could kind of lose it. But yeah, flowchart can sometimes be very complex, and this zooming functionality make it much easier to browse it. But well, I would summarize that this fit to screen button is for getting the big picture, and then when you want to go to the details, then you click the 100%. You can read the text.
That is definitely the case. And then when you want to make the marketing material, you zoom into 300% so that you only show a limited amount of information. Or actually, of course, you still have these functionalities to have a full control on what is being shown. And the zooming also works with the mouse wheel. So there are a lot of opportunities and possibilities to use this so that you get exactly the view with the data that you want. And it's always good to remember that in Process Analyzer, focusing on some part of the process is super easy. You just make the filter for these event types, and now you have a sort of a new process model, a sort of a new view to the model with a limited amount of these events. And you can see it in a very complex way with all the possible flows, or then you can limit to certain level of the flows to see the behavior within that particular set of the event types. And of course, you have these settings. Zoom, you get a nice picture right away, and positioned in a very nice way. Yes, let's move forward to the feature number 4, duration and weighted root cause analysis. I could talk about root cause analysis for hours. Actually, next week I'm going to talk for 3 hours in my public defense in the Aalto University. Let's see how that goes. But let's today talk about the root cause analysis from this release webinar point of view. So 2 things. How do you find the root causes for long case duration? That's one of the very typical query. Why the process is taking a long time? And it's only one button you need to click. And then when you want to do the root cause analysis, but you have cases that some of the cases are expensive, high value, and low value, high priority, low priority. If you want to prioritize, weight the analysis with that particular value, then how do you do that? Very simple with ProcessAnalyzer. So let's get into this duration root cause analysis and weighted root cause analysis features by going into the product. Okay. Well, maybe I could actually show in this particular model, like if this is my model, then I just go here and go to the preset, advanced AI analysis, root cause for case duration. It is this simple. You just click on here and you get right away. So now this is showing the root cause for the duration within these event types. So taking these event types, the case duration is something, and then this is now showing the reasons for long duration. So we see that if the on-time delivery is no, then the cases tend to take much more time. So 21% of the above average duration can be explained by this one KPI. Another dimension is that the Netherlands, Germany seem to take a long time in this data set. So those cases tend to take more time than average. And then in the other end, UK customers, Drystone UK company, they tend to take less time. So the average duration is only 7 or 8 days compared to this 22 days over here. So you see the average duration and you see the amount of the cases, and putting together these two, you get the root cause measure of the overtime percentage. So how big part of the total overtime can be explained by this particular case attribute and this particular value. So if you can get the German cases to the customer country being Germany to get to be as long as the average, then you would get rid of 6.4% of the overtime in this particular process model. So this is the duration analysis, duration root cause analysis, and it works without the root cause condition, because you just select this these root causes for case duration, and it's then going to calculate that. Of course, if I remove the event type filter here, now we have a new analysis here, and it's now the little bit changing the figures of how the process is goes. Okay, this was the duration root cause analysis, and then the second one is the weighted root cause analysis. And I have here an analysis of cases where the confirmed delivery date is before the delivery of the goods issue. So we have said that we will deliver on particular day, but the goods issue is only after that. So I have clicked this flow cases starting with confirmed delivery date. And now in this model, we see that the biggest, let me see which one I had. Let's first take the normal version. So in the normal version, root causes as a normal version, we see that the Deutschland and Austria, Netherlands, India, these are the places where we have the biggest problems in the delivery. So in Deutschland, we have the 42%, so Germany, so 42% of the cases are delivered late, and there's a lot of cases. So together, these two makes this to be the most biggest root cause problem for this delivery not in time. And Austria is second. But now when we go to the weighted version, we see that Austria becomes to be the biggest root cause problem here. And this is now based on the case value. So the sales orders in Austria tend to be more expensive, higher value than they are in this German company. So that's the reason why the Austria, when it's the weighted with the value, Austria is the #1 in the list. So you can run all your root cause analysis with the normal kind of standard root cause analysis interface, or this sort of a simple interface, or the detailed with the more columns, or then you can run them as weighted versions, which takes the case value into account. And then as an extra, you can run the root causes for the case durations without even selecting the root cause criteria here. So anything Olli you want to say about this?
Yeah, well, I especially like the root causes duration analysis because it's so easy to use. You don't need to choose a separate criteria. You can just click and open it, and there you can see the explaining factors for the long case durations. But yeah, that is really an advanced analysis in my opinion, because the basic case attribute root causes that works with the kind of distinct case attribute values, but this duration root causes understands that the case duration is not a distinct, but it's a kind of constant scale, and it understands this difference there. And well, that has a lot of improvement possibilities for the future, because the process mining data has a lot measures which have this kind of constant scale. So this is bringing a lot new improvement ideas also.
Yes, this is like the continuous variable. So there's like a binary case where something is problem or not, or then there is this continuous value like the case duration. So smaller duration maybe is better, and long duration may be problem, and the longer it is, the bigger the problem. So then you can run the root cause analysis taking that into account. And here I just selected another model, purchase to pay, and we see that again it just takes the model and then it immediately shows the problem areas where the process is taking a long time, 120 140 days over here, and then in the other end you see the part that is much less than the average. There are 70 days, 80, 90 days. Yes, this is a very nice out of the box feature. It has been there, but now it's like a packaged readily here. Very simple to use. I think, yes, user management web UI. Now, Olli, you may have your chance, because we have this user management user interface, and I was just hoping maybe Olli to give a couple of 20-second demo about that. But the thing is that you can manage the users and groups and the permissions with this user interface. And yeah, how about Olli? Is there something?
Yeah, I can show it quickly. Oh yes, okay, there seems to be actually a problem. I cannot share my screen currently.
Let me see, maybe it is because we need to make presenter out of you. Yes. Is it now?
Yeah, now it's showing.
Yes.
Show my screen. So
Good.
yeah, can you see the Process Analyzer homepage?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so I'll quickly show where you find the user management. So here it is in the main navigation menu. Click Manage Users, and this screen appears where you can see all the users in the system, and then when you click a user, you can see which groups it belongs to, and then the individual role permission, role assignments for that user. And so you can simply create new users here, edit existing user information as an administrator, set user passwords, reset the password. Here you can see groups and users that are belonging to it. And then one very useful functionality is that now we have, so when a person is not anymore using the system, the user account should be inactivated. So now we have the inactive accounts in a separate section. So here in this users list, you just see the active users. So making the management of users much easier. And yeah, Teemu, do I have quickly time to show the effective permissions?
Of course. Yes.
Yes, so this is new functionality. We did not have this previously in the Excel client. So the thing is that sometimes managing users might be quite tricky because there are so many of these rules. So the user rights come from all the groups that user are belonging to. And so you can now easily check here. So for example, if I take a project, there was a list of all the projects in the system, and then I can see a simple list of all the users who have permissions to this project. So I can see that, for example, this user just have viewing permissions, but nothing else for this project. Or then from other point of view, so I can choose a user and see what kind of permissions that user has in the system. So for example, here I can see that this user is having view rights for this listed projects here, and nothing else. So a good way to cross-check that the permissions are as they should be. Yep,
This
that was short.
certainly looks very good. Thanks Olli a lot. This is really good functionality. So typically the user authentication is of course linked to your Windows domain net users or some other identity, and then you have the permissions and roles and projects inside Process Analyzer. So this is now the place where you use the groups and that information so that you can manage and handle your whole user base. You may have 500 users in the system, so you can give everybody the right access. Okay, let me take back the screen. I think we are here. I think you can again see my PowerPoint. I'm skipping the one feature, and let's go to the 2021.1. So this was the functionality of 2020.8. But Olli, what would you say about the next release we are getting?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we see the highlights for the next major feature release. So let's start from the email alerts and notifications functionality. So the idea is that you can now set up different kinds of alerts to the process mining models. So there you can have, so for example, a criteria that if there is something that requires corrective action. So for example, you can set alerts for those, and then the assigned persons get a alert or notification of that there is something wrong and actions need to be done. So, for example, if in a sales process there are cases that are in a credit block and are not proceeding, so you get immediately then alerts from those situations. All right, then we have data tables management functionality. So now we are getting rid of the Excel client tool one by one. So now we saw the user management functionality, and now this is the next step. So we will have this possibility to manage the data tables, and data tables are one type of basic entities in the system. So basically all the data are located in the data tables, so the event log data, and you can also use it for the ETL, so for some staging tables, for example. So in the next release we will have that functionality in the part of the workspace screen. Okay, then we have a business calendar. This is something that I've waited for long, because this is very useful functionality. So the thing is that durations are, well, one of the most important measures in process mining. And okay, by default, the durations are measured in kind of full time, so that there is 24 hours a day. But of course, you might be interested in what is the duration in terms of the working time. And this is a functionality for that. So it means that you can set up your weekly calendar. So when the working time starts and ends each day, and then it is able to show all the duration measures based on this business calendar. And yeah, we'll have very flexible functionality. So of course it takes into account weekends, and there might be different working times in different weekdays, and also holidays are taken into account. So those holiday days can be excluded from the calculation. So then it will be very accurate calculation that can be used, for example, for the SLA criteria calculation, and then it will show it exactly correctly. Okay, the next one, more improvements to charting functionality. So there will be more layout options. You can change background color for charts, border color, border width, and then the fine detail, the kind of rounding of the corners of the charts. And yep, there are many use cases with this one. So for example, then it is possible to create the dashboards where there are different kinds of themes. So for example, dark themes and so on. And then the last highlight is so there will be a new category of presets, and next time it will be auditing and compliance use case related presets. Yeah, so with those you can see all kinds of compliance related violations or deviations or such like that. One thing we'll definitely implement is this segregation of duties analysis, where you can see that the same person is not doing the things that it should not do. So for example, send a request and then after that same person approves it. So that is definitely a compliance violation. So these presets will highlight those kinds of violations in the process. And yeah, anyways, will help our auditors and other persons to analyze the process. But okay, those are the highlights. And yeah, so the next release will be out in the beginning of January.
Yes.
Yep.
Very good. So Olli, thanks. This is a super good list of the highlights. And personally, I must say that this preset chart has been super useful. So of course, all of this is already possible. For example, the segregation of duties kind of analysis. But now when we have them as presets, it of course helps everybody to take them super easily into use. And you never know, like in this release, we got the Q analysis, which also included some special R&D work inside the engine. So you never know what kind of presets we will get to the next release. But then, in addition to that, I think the business calendar has been asked for many times, and it's very useful. And then, of course, the email alerts and notifications is clearly pushing ProcessAnalyzer even more towards the direction where it helps companies to take the action to act upon the information that process mining is revealing, and also act upon the prediction.